Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine, like, the most brutal violence happening on screen,
Mm-hmm.
but the music playing is, something really elegant, like the March of the Tsar, Grieg, or Rossini, maybe.
That contrast, yeah, it's immediately startling.
Totally. And that exact unsettling mix, that's pure Stanley Kubrick, a real signature.
And it does more than just shock, right?
It-
It's a deliberate choice, makes you really question your own reactions.
Exactly. And that feeling is what we're diving into today. We want to understand why Kubrick is still so, so important.
Through A Clockwork Orange, specifically, his 1971 masterpiece. Controversial, yes, but groundbreaking.
Definitely. We've looked at sources covering, his style, the history around the film, the story itself.
Its innovations, its influence,
Hmm.
how people reacted back then, and, well, even now.
So our mission really is to pull out the key things that make A Clockwork Orange so significant.
Yeah, give you a kind of shortcut to understanding its impact and Kubrick's whole artistic approach.
So Kubrick himself, he was famous for this. Well, intense focus.
Obsessive perfectionism, some might say.
Right. I mean, you hear stories from The Shining, something like 127 takes for just one scene.
It's legendary. And you have to ask, what was behind that? Just technical or something deeper?
Good question. I think it was tied into his whole artistic vision, wasn't it?
Absolutely. That meticulousness, it wasn't just for show. It was about achieving a very precise effect he wanted. Every single detail mattered.
And visually, his films are incredible, like paintings almost.
Yeah, our sources mention that. Parallels to Renaissance painting, modern art.
That use of symmetry, strong lines, and really controlled color.
Mm-hmm.
In A Clockwork Orange, it's that red, white, and black palette that just hits you.
It's so stark. And it does something, doesn't it? It kind of strips away the nuance.
How so?
Well, it mirrors the sort of brutal choices Alex faces, maybe. And the coldness of the society trying to control him feels heightened artificial.
Which connects to his big themes, right? Freedom versus control.
The nature of morality.
How much power the state should have. These pop up again and again in his films.
You see it in Spartacus, Eyes Wide Shut. He kept grappling with these huge questions about us, about society.
And Clockwork Orange just puts it front and center, no easy answers.
No, definitely not. It holds up a mirror, maybe not a comfortable one, to what humans are capable of, both good and bad.
Then there's the sound. He was doing really innovative stuff there.
Oh, absolutely. That juxtaposition violence in classical music.
It's iconic, that March of the Tsar during horrific scenes.
Yeah.
It creates this awful irony.
It makes the violence feel even more disturbing somehow. Not just graphic, but
Right.
wrong on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Because the music represents something beautiful, maybe.
Right. And he used synthesizers too, which was pretty new then. Added this whole other texture.
It all forces you to confront this clash between, like, our cultural ideals and our capacity for brutality.
Okay, so a bit on Kubrick's path.
Okay.
Started as a photographer, right? For Look magazine.
Yeah, then moved into film in the late 50s.
Yeah.
Largely self-taught, very hands-on.
How do you think that DIY background shaped him?
Well, it probably gave him this incredible understanding of the whole process, start to finish.
Allowed him more control, maybe, to experiment.
Exactly. He wasn't just relying on specialists. He often knew exactly how he wanted things done, technically and artistically.
And this film, A Clockwork Orange, landed in a very specific time. Late 60s, early 70s.
A lot going on then. Post-war stuff still lingering, the counterculture,
And the movie's based on Anthony Burgess's novel from 62.
which was already tapping into fears about youth gangs, juvenile crime.
And these new ideas about behavioral therapy, rehabilitation experiment.
Right. The utopian dreams of the 60s were kind of fading. There was real anxiety about urban violence, debates about psychology. That's the backdrop.
So the film hit a nerve because it reflected those contemporary worries.
It wasn't just sci-fi. It felt like a distorted version of the present or a possible near future.
So the story itself, quickly, Alex DeLarge, charismatic gang leader, loves violence,
Uh-huh. Very violent.
gets caught, then undergoes this thing called the Ludovico treatment.
Right, the experimental aversion therapy. They show him violent films while making him physically sick.
So he gets conditioned. Violence makes him ill.
And the result?
Yeah.
He can't be violent anymore, but he also loses his appreciation for music, his free will, essentially.
Which brings us to that core dilemma. Is it okay to strip away someone's freedom, even a criminal's, for the sake of safety?
And Kubrick just leaves that question hanging there, doesn't he?
Yeah. No easy answer given. It forces you, the viewer, to wrestle with it. Justice, punishment, what makes us human?
It's complex. The treatment works, but at what cost? Dehumanization.
And you really see all of Kubrick's signature style converging in this film.
Absolutely. The planning, the visuals.
That sound design, the camera works, those tracking shots following Alex and his droogs.
Even the look of the world. That futuristic, slightly brutalist design. It all adds to this feeling of dehumanization.
It's like every element serves the theme. Nothing's just decorative.
Totally integrated. It immerses you in this very specific, unsettling world he created.
And Alex, he's tricky. Protagonist, antagonist.
A sympathetic villain. It's a good way to put it.
Despite everything he does, he has this charm. Macabre charm, maybe?
And Kubrick uses that, doesn't he? He uses our complicated reaction to Alex to ask if forced morality is real morality.
Yeah. If you're just conditioned not to do bad things, have you actually chosen to be good?
It challenges our easy categories of good and evil,
Yeah.
makes us look at our own fascination with transgression, perhaps.
It's almost like there are two levels. Alex's story,
Uh-huh.
and then this commentary on film itself, how images and sound condition us.
Like the Ludovico treatment, but for the audience. That's
Yeah.
a fascinating idea.
Yeah, like he's hinting at how media shapes our reality.
That meta level is definitely there. He's not just telling a story, he's making us think about the medium itself, its power, its potential for manipulation.
And the film was technically ahead of its time in so many ways.
The production design, for sure. That minimalist, futuristic look. The Korova milk bar. So influential.
And his use of those wide-angle lenses, Zeiss lenses.
Right, they give a slight distortion, especially around the edges. Makes faces and rooms feel unsettling.
Plus the editing, cutting violence against classical music, the jump cuts. It felt new, a kind of sensory shock.
And again, these weren't just tricks. They served the story, the feeling, the themes.
Narratively, too, that ambiguity, no neat ending.
Forces you to think actively about the ethics. It doesn't wrap things up for you.
And bringing behavioral modification right into the center of the plot was pretty bold for the time.
It's classic Kubrick.
Yeah.
Presenting difficult moral questions and letting the audience grapple with them.
And you can see his fingerprints on so many filmmakers who came later.
Oh, definitely. Scorsese, Fincher,
Aronofsky.
even Wes Anderson, maybe, with the symmetry. Christopher Nolan with the moral complexity.
Yeah, the stylized violence in Scorsese or Aronofsky, the visual precision, tackling those big, dark themes. The influence is undeniable. It's not just copying. It's like he opened doors for them.
Inspired them to push boundaries, yeah.
Now, the initial reaction, pretty intense.
Hugely controversial. Censorship issues, threats. Kubrick actually withdrew it from UK cinemas himself for a while.
Critics were split down the middle. Some thought it incited violence.
Others hailed it as a masterpiece about human darkness and social control. It really polarized
It
people.
shows its power, I guess. Couldn't be ignored.
Exactly.
But over time, its reputation has really solidified.
Oh, yeah. Now it's seen as, a landmark film of the 70s, constantly on greatest films lists.
Look, its style still feels influential in art, fashion, music.
That reevaluation speaks volumes about its artistic merit and lasting relevance.
And the Ludovico experiment itself. It's become shorthand, hasn't it?
Yeah, a cultural touchstone for debates about free will, state power, coercion.
Used in philosophy classes, psychology discussions.
Shows the film went beyond just cinema. It became this powerful allegory.
So, summing up Kubrick's legacy, it's that fusion, isn't it? Form and content working together to ask big questions.
A Clockwork Orange is maybe the prime example. He showed film could be total art, engaging with painting, music, philosophy.
He used the medium to make us uncomfortable, to challenge us.
And A Clockwork Orange certainly does that. It asks profound things about who we are and what kind of society we want.
Which leaves us with that final, lingering question the film poses so starkly.
Can society, or should society, trade individual freedom for collective safety?
And what's the true price of that kind of forced re-education?
It's a question that feels just as relevant today, maybe even more so.
Definitely something to chew on. So after hearing all this, we're really curious. What do you think about Kubrick, about A Clockwork Orange? What stands out to you? Let us know.